Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode, another season, a whole new season of Shakti Waves Radio with me, Sanja Avramovich, Rose in the middle there. I'm so excited to be here with one of my dearest clients and my personal nutritionist that has helped me transform my energy in just 2 months of working together. It was truly manifesting generator level, quantum leaping, time jumping. And I know you can have the same results with her. Daina Gardiner is here with me today, and she is an incredible, have I said it enough? Certified holistic nutritionist and feminine energy coach. She's really got it figured out. She figured out how to serve women into sustainable, holistic energy naturally. She is the CEO and founder of The Energized Woman, the incredible Shakti brand that we got to co-create and work on over the last 6 or 7 months. We got to work together over the summer, which was super fun. Lots of beach time collaborations during that time. And she is ending the women's energy crisis naturally, not the women's energy cycle. That's normal. The women's energy crisis, where women are tired and fatigued and exhausted and burnt out. No more. She's here to end that naturally. Welcome, Daina.
Yay. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited for this conversation. I've been looking forward to it because you are, well, you're not hidden from the world by any means. You're very boldly sharing, but I feel like you are the secret sauce. You are the missing ingredient to women's energy rejuvenation and connection to their intuition and to real ease when it comes to their health and wellness and nutrition journey. So let's start with your heroine origin story, how it all began, your dive into greatness. Tell us about how you got here to the point where you created the Energized Woman and know how to help any woman heal her energy through nutrition.
Sure. So my story begins way back when I was 12 years old. I caught pneumonia and the acute symptoms went away, but the fatigue kept me down. It was a struggle to walk upstairs. It was just a struggle to get enough sleep. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I could barely function. Nobody in my world understood. My parents pushed me to just push through it and stuff, but I ended up having to quit everything that I loved doing, figure skating, gymnastics, volleyball, all of those fun things. And then it got worse, progressively worse. With all that, of course, because I'm not with my friends aside from school, got lonely. And then when I went to doctors and nobody could figure it out. Then when I was 15, I caught mono. And again, that just knocked me down for quite a few weeks. But the fatigue again just got worse. It just never got better. I never felt better. Finally, I think at that point, because I had mono and there was this understanding that mono can be related to extreme fatigue, my mom kind of started to take me seriously and started taking me to more doctors and more specialists, and nobody could figure it out. Nobody had an idea until this one new young doctor from South Africa came to, ironically, our very small town. And he sat me down and did an evaluation and said, I think you have chronic fatigue syndrome, which to me at that time, I think I was 15 or 16, maybe by that point. I'm like, yay, I have a problem. You can fix this, right? And he's like, well, no, there is nothing we can do. There is no medical treatment for this. There is nothing we can do. And today, even, I was on studies and articles from medical journals, 2022. That is the message that doctors are still giving to women. It turned out I have Epstein-Barr virus, and that pneumonia activated it, and it got worse with mono. And now, still to this day, there's no official treatment for Epstein-Barr virus and then chronic fatigue syndrome. So I basically was told at that point in my life to just learn to cope with it. You're just gonna have to deal. And so I went through periods of coping with it, feeling really sorry for myself, getting really motivated to try something new. I'd try eating a little healthier. I tried, I think I bought out all the supplements from Walmart in a 4-year period just to try anything. I tried detoxing. I went to a psychologist at one point because someone suggested that. Like, I feel like I tried it all. And then in my late 20s, I kind of got a shove from a ex-boyfriend now to become more healthier. Like, I wasn't doing anything but working, and I would just go home right after work and veg out on the couch. I was too tired to do anything. So he tried to help me. I resisted a lot, but something sparked in me to take my health into my own hands. It was actually a picture of how mortifyingly awful I looked. Like, I'd gained so much weight. I was like chalky and white. My hair was listless and dry. And I just looked horrible. So I started by cleaning up my diet and following the clean eating principle that was really big back then, like 15 or so years ago.
Mhm.
And through that, I did start to feel more energy coming on. And it intrigued me, I guess, to really ask why. Like, why is just, I mean, it's healthy eating, of course, but what exactly is happening?
Mhm.
I'm not generally one to just stop at like, oh, okay, cool, fixed it. So then, like, my energy was coming up. I lost a bunch of weight through that as well, and which is something I wanted at the time. But then I hit the end of that weight loss, that period of time of working on my health, and tried to be more normal because I'd isolated myself a lot through that clean eating period, and started to gain the weight. So it felt like a last resort. I tried calorie restriction again. I tried more exercise again. Nothing was working for the weight side of things. So I ended up going off birth control pills because that was the last resort. I'm like, I have these birth control pills. They're supposed to cause women to gain weight, blah, blah, blah. So I went off the birth control pills. And then my whole head, my neck, my chest, my back just broke out in the most mortifying, embarrassing cystic acne that I'd ever experienced. And I struggled not to call in sick to work for about 2 years. Again, I tried to fix it on my own with the topical solutions and clean eating and stuff, and nothing was working. So that's when I went and saw a naturopathic doctor. She helped me clear up my acne. And at the same time, my energy started to just really almost skyrocket. I remember it was about 6 months into working with her, and I was home on it was a 2-0 Wednesday night when normally I'd be really tired. And I was dancing around the kitchen, excited and happy and smiling and playing, singing to my cats. So I knew that was the indication something's changed. Not only is my energy higher, but my mood is better. I feel lighter, I feel healthier. And then I was talking to one of my dance friends a couple of months later, and she mentioned holistic nutrition. And so I started asking her about that and decided that, that sounds exactly like what I want to dive into, is really understand what food is doing to our body, both on the, unhealthy side of things, which is very prominent, but also how food can help heal us. And so I went back to school and got my holistic nutrition certification, and still nothing in there for chronic fatigue syndrome or Epstein-Barr, but I had a lot more tools in my hands to start playing with and protocols. And so what I did was started to mix and match protocols, test them out on myself, until about 4 or 5 years later, I felt like I'd reached this summit and I was on track to smooth sailing with my energy. I felt amazing. Life was easy. I had freedom to do whatever I wanted. I could eat pretty much what I wanted. I could skip a few hours of sleep and not crash out for a number of days. I could work out. I could do everything I wanted to do. And so then I kind of started to throw everything together into a protocol to help others. I also fell kind of regressed, I guess, at one point through a very stressful event, and then used what I had put together to pull myself back out. And it was about a 3-month process, which was awesome, because before, like, 4 years versus 3 months, like, it just showed me that the protocol really worked. And then I started to incorporate a lot of, without really knowing it at the time, actually, incorporate the messages and the cues from my intuition on how to eat, how to move my body throughout the month, how to, become more in tune with my own cycle. There was a lot of mindset shifts that happened through that. How I talk to myself changed. All those pieces started to fall into place. And it wasn't until just a few years ago that I kind of realized that I stumbled into that feminine energetic side and realized how important that is to the overall energy healing journey. So now I help other women overcome chronic fatigue, stealth infection fatigue, post-viral fatigue, and burnout. So that's my story.
Oh my goodness. So you just recalled over 20 years, right? Like, it's almost been 20 years since you got that diagnosis, and you've been on this journey. And I feel like you might have, time goes by as you tell a story of your whole life of over 20 years. But there was years of you feeling exhausted, low energy, not able to do anything you wanted, not able to work out, spend time with friends. Like, your quality of life was significantly impacted.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
of course you were dedicated to find a solution, but the fact that you found it yourself through your own investigation is one, really perfect based on your human design, but also just a real testament to how truly, I consider you to be devoted to this for your life, because it turned your own life around, gave you your energy back. And now you have this elixir, this ultimate boon that you've gotten from this journey that you get to share with all of us, and that you've also shared with me. So I will share my own energy rejuvenation story, but just want to reflect on, like, what's that like to know that it's been that long of a journey and you have that level of lived experience and mastery within you?
It's kind of surreal. There's times when I actually don't remember how I felt through my teens and my 20s. It's not because it was so long ago, but just because I've had such a profound transformation in my own health, from practically suicidal through my teens and 20s, based on, not because I was depressed, but just I felt like my life was a complete waste of a life, to now just like loving life, just finding passion and joy and abundance everywhere I look.
Wow, like, that just gets me really, really emotional hearing you say that, because I can only imagine how many people are out there, and maybe they're listening, or maybe someone, if you're listening to this podcast, that really needs to hear this, that has been suffering from burnout, exhaustion, tiredness, not having the energy to do things. And this isn't just, being a non-energy type in human design, right? Being a projector, manifestor, reflector. It's not anything to do with that. These are real viral infections and hormonal imbalances and real lifestyle and mindset changes and shifts that need to happen now. Like, there really is this energy crisis for women, because so much of the even the pop health data around there is very male centric. It's male biohacking and nutrition centric. It doesn't take into account that every single week most women have completely different hormones running through their body, because we cycle and we go through moon cycles. And you said that was kind of one of the elements that had everything click together, was coming into tune with your feminine energy. And that's my number one, like, female energy hack, is get aligned to your moon cycle. And of course, the moon cycle and the cycles of the cosmos, which is my favorite integration to bring to people. But what was that like for you, discovering your feminine energy and the power really behind your period?
I definitely had a shift from I hated that time of the month to like, ooh, what's happening now? It's very powerful, and it's very, I feel like liberating is a really good word, because I'm not fighting, I'm not fighting what mainstream health is telling me to do and not feeling right inside my body. Now I'm just listening to what my body needs, what my body is telling me to give up or take in or do on a, more of a lifestyle aspect, whether that's more sleep or exercise or whatever. And it just feels like it's a really easy way to live life. I don't have to think like logically and plan out so much what I am going to eat and do, although I do that. But it's liberating. Yeah. It just makes me feel like I have this internal power. The other awesome part about your cycle is, I found personally, once I regulated it, because it used to be all wonky. Like I said, I was on birth control pills probably for almost 20 years. Coming off of them was obviously a disaster. So it took me a little while to get that side of my health regulated. So once I got my cycle regulated, it's this obvious, very acute set of symptoms and signs, not so much symptoms, but signs that you can pay attention to. You can see them, you can feel them. They're very tangible, and they're a great way to help you stay on track. So for example, if I feel a certain couple of symptoms coming on, I know that that's one of my hormones is a little out of whack, and I know exactly what to do to put myself back on track. So I don't end up, so far down the road where I'm like, how did this happen to me? I have something to pay attention to every single month. And it just makes me staying my healthiest so much easier. And I find that as I've gotten older, I'm getting healthier because of it. So
Yeah, you're definitely like a Benjamin Button of the feminine moon realms.
yeah.
That would be we actually never ended up creating, because typically when I build Shakti brands with clients, is we do a sacred myth that is your sacred myth and mission. So maybe that's something we can look into this year. But that feels like it's a part of your story, right? That you're living in this created world, right? The built world, the mechanical world of work and school and systems, and you just don't feel like yourself. And then all of a sudden the moon rises and you feel the moon within yourself, and there's this wave, there's this tidal wave of new energy available that actually gets you healthier as you age, me feeling more energized and more alive as you age. And in human design, you are a manifesting generator, which means that, like I was saying before, just like, oh no, wait, you're a generator actually, but you do have a defined throat. It's just not connected to a motor center. If I have that correct. Yes, so. I do. And you're actually born in the incarnation cross, the left angle cross of incarnation, which we can go into really deeply. And I haven't studied the incarnation crosses the same way that like analysts have, but to be born at the cross of incarnation, to incarnate in order to show people why we incarnate. I think that your story of literally feeling like, what is life and why am I here, to now being deeply empowered, so in tune with your body to the point that a couple symptoms, you can tell, oh, that must be my hormone imbalance coming in. And then also how to treat it through the prescription of food, which is my favorite element of what you do. Is it's actually all about adding in more of what you do need that will balance your hormones and will balance your energy and give you the fuel that is, correct for each person's constitution and unique body, rather than eliminate this, remove that, be constricted in this way, add all these supplements, right? It's actually like this ingrained lifestyle practice, which is the incarnation. And of course you're a 5-1, which means that you're here to investigate and to explore, and also to have unfortunately, all fives are in the projection field, which means that they're often projected on. And so people don't actually see them properly, right? So not feeling seen by medical professionals and doctors and just having them project, even their opinions or diagnoses or like lack of solutions at you, when you had to be the one to investigate and be the first one to really figure this out. I've been looking for you for years, because all of the other nutritionists that I have engaged with and spoken to, it just feels like they don't have that same lived experience that you do, right? There's that difference of 20 years of battling chronic fatigue to get to this empowered place is just the most profound story. And if it doesn't move whoever is listening, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like that's like a life dedication to come to this solution. And now you're giving it to the world. And it served me so much. I can't wait to tell more about that. But before we get into it, I really want to ask about, what was it like for you to start to figure out that you could duplicate this and share it with others? Because you do have a background in data. Is it data privacy and data integrity and making sure that like systems are like sealed and shut? So you like know how to diagnose issues and cybersecurity. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like my cybersecurity career served me well for this. I was in cybersecurity for a little over 15 years, became one of the local to Calgary known experts in specifically like industrial control systems, which, controls the world. And one of the things that I developed while I was working at one company was an overall like repeatable process to dive really deep into cyber threats for a company. I took the framework. So out there in the cyber world, there are big companies that create frameworks for the working companies like say Enbridge or such companies like that to use to secure their networks, their environments. And I felt those frameworks were a good starting point, but it's almost like they lacked a personal touch. By that, I mean, I couldn't evaluate every single system and single SaaS application or third party the same way, because they all had some little individual nuances in how they developed their system. So I took the frameworks, I developed my own. It was really just for me because I wanted to do that deep dive. I developed a system of how to evaluate all of these different, like hundreds of different organizations and applications and such in a consistent way while still adding that personal flair to it so I could get into each company's security. Mm-hmm. And that process became so popular that I ended up like kind of formalizing it and taking it to and introducing it to 5 different companies in Calgary. Mm-hmm. So I should have like copyrighted it or something or patented it. I was actually hired at my last company to bring that in. So,
well, I think you still can. And given that I'm in the world of digital business for female entrepreneurs, and I can say that personally, my own cybersecurity, other than what my devs and my tech team has set up, like feels like it's been completely untapped. And that's like an untapped market, especially for, I want to say, vulnerable online entrepreneurs that might not even realize how to protect their security, what a VPN is, like, even something as simple as like a security signature for their checkouts, right? Making sure that lock is on every single page when you're doing payment processing. Like there's so many different ways to look at data and online security. And I think that point of view might just have a lot of value. And it's something that I've been wanting to bring up with you. And I mean, now we're live on a podcast, so why not? That's how my 4-6 quad right works. I'm just like, oh, right now is the time to bring this up. But I do still see an application for you to use those skills, but But I also see the brilliance of how you've taken that systems thinking and that 5-1 like magic of investigation that you exist within, that is who you are, and you've applied that to women's energy and nutrition. Tell us more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny, as I was describing the cyber process, I'm like, that's exactly what I did for energy. So I had these frameworks, all of these different protocols. In holistic nutrition school, we were given a protocol for it seemed to be almost all ailments. So digestive issues, IBS, acne, adrenal fatigue, like all these things, or just there wasn't that one for Epstein-Barr, stealth infections, or chronic fatigue syndrome. So I kind of took all of those protocols, kind of combined them into what felt like the most relevant set of options for someone like me. And I said, like I said earlier, I tested a bunch of them out and, got rid of some of the options that clearly didn't work and kept the ones in that did. I repeated the process where I could. And then I also found and discovered other frameworks for evaluating symptoms and pulled those in. And basically what I've done is I've created two health assessments, symptomology assessments. One is for general total body health, like head to toe, and one is for hormones, because hormones are so important. And I have my clients now go through and rank their symptoms. It is qualitative, so you rank your own symptom on a scale of 0 to 3, but I correlate all of that information and apply your specific scores to specific body systems, hormonal imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, etc. And then I come up with a very clear set of imbalances that you as the client, you, Sanja, are dealing with. But then with my holistic nutrition education and experience, I can then dive even deeper and figure out what of your main health problems, your main imbalances, what's the root? What's actually causing all of the rest of these, or most likely? Because the body's so interconnected, we have to keep that in mind. So yeah, I've got this deep dive, super deep dive. I do a lot of analysis on my side because I like that, and then put that together for you so that you can get that clarity. Like, you're struggling with, for example, you're struggling with fatigue and migraines and digestive issues, and your period's all out of whack, and someone told you to detox. So you're looking at all those things where I can take all of that plus your scores and come back to you and say, I see that you are battling, I don't know, adrenal dysfunction, for example. That is the one thing that you should focus on that will trickle out to the rest of the symptoms and help rebalance the whole body, just to make life easier for you.
And I am a testimony. I testify to the fact that this works. This system works. I mean, after 20 years in being a cybersecurity analyst and creating this system and making it work for yourself, of course it works, but it was miraculous to me how quickly it worked for me. I think we were both a little bit surprised with like, oh, that was really quick. Especially because this year, so typically, like I was saying, I'm a very intuitive eater. I've seen naturopaths over the last 10 years since I got out of university. The first thing I did when I finished university was like, I'm going to a naturopath. I have seriously effed my adrenals up. It's time to get serious about my well-being. And I'm so glad that I did, because I don't know how I would have been able to continue working if I wouldn't have taken care of myself. But at that point, I was so inflamed and inflammatory. Like, I was getting eczema on my eyes. I had to completely cut out eggs and dairy. And so I wanted to be vegan at the time because that was my journey. But I also had to be vegan because I wasn't allowed to eat milk and dairy and eggs. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just be a vegan, which was a very interesting journey that I'll talk more about, because I really don't like the labeling of diets, just like I don't love the labeling of people, which has always been a journey, considering that I'm a professional brand expert and that I pretty much help people create names and labels, for lack of a better term, literally for themselves and their businesses. But something that I found, we started working together. So we built your brand over the summer. And then once we were done, I'm like, okay, let's dive in. I could really use some of your support with my own energy. And within that one set of questions and 1 hour with you, that root cause deep dive, which was the name that we came up for it, because it really is like a root cause deep dive. It's not just like let's get on a 1 hour call and do an intro. It's like, no, we'll figure out the one thing that will transform your energy if you focus on it. And then you also gave me like a beautiful like food prescription to eat. And it was so miraculous, because I had been suffering from really serious depression and anxiety and was having wild panic attacks and like really intense exhaustion back in the spring during Pisces season. I went into my descent. I went into a death portal, and I'm so grateful that I did. But it was dark. I mean, the war just started again in Europe, and I'm from a war in Europe. I was extremely triggered. I felt so defeated by the world, by leadership, by my own leadership. I really felt like my energy hadn't been used to create peace and harmony, which is why I believe I'm here. And I was exhausted, and I literally couldn't even move. Like I had none of the energy I used to have. And one of my essence words when I did my coach training was vitality. And my spiritual name is Shakti, and Shakti is power, feminine power. So I'm a manifesting generator and a Scorpio. So my whole life I've connected to being the one with a lot of energy, that's always talking, that's very energized. And all of a sudden I had to crawl up my stairs. I literally could barely go walk around. I didn't have the energy to do anything. So it wasn't years and years that I experienced this. I'm so grateful it was only a few months, but the repercussions on my psychology and my body were so immense. And I had been healing myself and supporting myself up until that point, but it wasn't until I started working with you and we got clear that my estrogen was really low, my cortisol was super high. Of course it was, because I was like so stressed, right? And instantly, from just starting to eat some more fats, some salmon, some more eggs, some more nuts, and just actually knowing like what was off in my body, I started to love myself and think about like, okay, cortisol, go down. Like that's the relationship I have with my energetics, as I talk to my hormones. Maybe not everyone does that, but it was so empowering to know that. And then also have tools that were really just like, buy sweet potatoes, eat some fish, make sure you're getting fatty acids, like feed your brain, like let your body relax, right? Eat the protein, eat the fat. And I, like the next month when we did the assessment again, it was profound, the shifts. And then there was just a matter of incorporating some seeds and some pumpkin seeds. And then all of a sudden, all of my symptoms of my period being extremely painful and extremely emotional, to the point where I would get suicidal the day before my period, which didn't happen to me since I was on birth control in my early 20s. And that's why I even got off birth control in my early 20s, was because that level of like depression before my period was so immense. I was like, I don't deserve to feel this way every single cycle and every single month. And that had returned. Of course it did, with my depression and anxiety. And it completely went away. And I literally am finishing my moon today as we're talking. And it was the most pleasurable, enjoyable, energized period that I've ever had. I was like, wow, I needed to keep on reminding myself that I was on my moon and it was okay to take rest, because I felt so alive. I don't know if you want to share a little bit, like I'm fully an open book, so feel free to share about my process or what that was like to experience, just to give people a flavor of what's available to them.
Yeah. So yeah, like you mentioned, we've only been working together for like 2 or 3 months, but your initial health assessment, like you said, we looked at your hormones. You had a few specific hormones and they're all interconnected. And I gave you some food options and told you to, increase your protein because most women don't get enough and take in those healthy fats and just really think about what you're eating. And I don't have it in front of me, your scores, but I do recall it being extremely, it changed so much in just 4 weeks that it was crazy kind of. So yeah. And then you just talking about your symptoms. I love the conversation of the calls too, because like I can see the data, but then listening to you and my clients talk about the changes, and you weren't maybe as bad as some of my clients have started off as, but there's just the first initial couple of consults we do, there's a lot of hope behind the words and the tone, but also this like air of, I don't believe anything's going to work. I'm too broken. I've felt like this for so long. Nothing's ever worked. A lot of women like to describe like all the things that they've done in the past and then tell me how they didn't work. And I can see why when I'm working with them. But when we get to, it's usually to call 2 or 3 that you guys get on the phone and you're like, and this amazing thing happened and I could go for a walk finally. And my period it came and went and I hardly even noticed it. It's just, that's so exciting. So exciting for me to see and hear and just feel your emotional change. So
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, what an incredible experience to have. What an incredible gift to give people is their energy back naturally, holistically. And it is emotional. I mean, I'm an emotional manifesting generator. You're an emotional generator. And so we're fueled and we're led by our emotional power. And my emotional wave is a collective wave, which was a lot of why I was even having the symptoms I was having. It, there was times where I felt even like a victim to my own design, because I was like, why do I have to feel my emotions and then also everyone else's? And I'm depressed, but I also know the world is way more depressed than it ever has been. And children are suffering and teenagers are suffering and people are alone and suffering, and women don't have nutrition and energy systems that are tailored towards them and their unique bodies and their cycles. And it was honestly like, and for someone with hope is transference. So my motivation in human design is guilt, which sounds really bad, but it's actually like when people are around me and motivated by me, they feel the guilt that they have to do something, that hope isn't enough. You can't just hope that you're going to get better. You have to do something. You have to take the action. You have to put it out there, right? Which is why I'm such an activating brand strategist, because I get people into that aligned action to create the results that they want and the success that they're dreaming of. And it's so exciting to me that I was able to heal myself with your support, but it really did feel like I was still doing it for me. Like, it's so empowering that I was the one that had to go get the food, and I have it all on my fridge too. Like, eat more of this. Like, I didn't even have less of that, because what I find is when you eat more of something, you'll naturally eat less of what you don't need. If your body is fueled and feeling good, you're not like reaching for, the candies and the granola bars or etc. It's really profound, and it does get me quite emotional just how powerful it is. Like, I mean, I'm recommending everybody and their moms literally to you, because you've figured out the key. You've figured out the feminine energy code. And one of the pieces that you really spoke to is it's not all just about nutrition, right? Like it is, and that's important, but that's just the beginning. Like, because I'm a coach, because I'm, a an energy healer because I know how to heal myself intuitively. And I was already doing that for years. That's why I had such rapid results, as I was just a sponge and I was ready to take the action. But you also are a coach. You also can support people through those mindset shifts. So tell me more about that journey of incorporating that, and also what that's like to not only be, a nutritionist, but also a women's energy coach.
Yeah, it's a fun. I enjoy working on that mindset side of the equation so much because I actually see more faster, bigger results when women do accept that there are some thought patterns and self-talk and past limiting beliefs that need to shift. I have one client who has transformed her mental and emotional health so much in the last 6 months that it's wild to talk to her now based on like how she was feeling about herself and her own abilities to get better back 6 months ago versus today. And when we started working together, she was one of those women who had tried everything, had tried the natural paths. She'd done all the diet, she'd done all the exercise programs and supplements and adaptogens and listed off everything. And one of her biggest roadblocks that I could feel in her was she didn't believe that she was capable of healing and feeling better. She was just going to have to struggle.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so that stuff's hard to shift right off the bat. So of course we worked on food, and through her first 4 to 6 weeks, she started to notice the physical changes and improvements in her energy and her skin and hair and just, the things that she could see and feel. And then it was about 2.5 months in to working with me, she had a really big unexpected event that caused a lot of stress happen to her. And she just about lost it kind of thing. So she emailed me and let me know about it. It's like, this is happening. I'm falling off the wagon. What do I do? And so I coached her through some of that, let's start small with affirmations or something like that. I coached her through a few little techniques to help calm her stress response on that physical level and to tell herself that she's got this, she can do this. I believe in her. And she got through it fine. She got back on track quite quickly, which she was astounded by because she said in the past she normally would have just fallen off for months and months, but she got back on track within about a week. And then not even a month later, another big, huge stressor hit her. Poor lady. And
it happens. Life happens.
I know. It's life. And so before that, that was part of it. This is life. We've got to learn how to deal with this on a healthier level.
Mm-hmm.
So before she was thinking well, this stuff keeps happening to me. How am I going to deal with it? I can't deal with it. I can't get through this, And then that second time though, she emailed me and she gave me her coaching. She told me what was going wrong, how she was feeling. It was overwhelming. She thought she was going to fall off. She's like, but I know I can eat these foods and I can do these exercises and I can tell myself this story. That's perfect. And so she got through that so much faster and she didn't actually fall off track that time. And then she had another big couple of stressors within a couple of weeks, about a month and a half later. And again, she's just like, I got this. This is happening. It sucks. I'm laughing it off at this point. So coaching, that transformation to me is makes my coaching practice so worth it, because just hear her and see her making these massive mindset shifts that support her. She's now at the point where she's like, I've set so many boundaries to keep myself healthy. I am not worrying about things that I don't need to worry about. I am working through the stressors. I'm fine. I've got this. And yeah, she said for the first time in her life, she's been able to get through unexpected events with grace and ease. And keep yourself that top priority, which is really one of my main goals working with my clients.
Absolutely powerful. What an immense level of empowerment, right? Energy is empowering to know that you can do it, that you're powerful. I was getting ready for this call and I was hyping myself up. I've been really focusing on lymph this week, and my two favorite human design like teachers and their best friends, and it's so fun to watch them together. Human Design Coffee Talk with Brandy Gilmartin and Teresa Brenneman. Teresa Brenneman is like, she's my girl. She's my human design girl. I've learned so much about it from her. And she was a part of Lucky Witch, and she talked about how to just be human and empowered by the system, but also by your own humanity, which is so important. And they were talking all about lymph. So I was dancing and moving my lymph. And I remembered that TED Talk from years ago about how standing in power positions and literally like arms up, like even if you try right now, you put your arms up above your head, you literally feel like a superhuman. You feel more powerful, right? Yes. Right. Like power stances. And I can attest to this. When you have the energy to do things, you have so much more resilience. You have so much more capacity to deal with, business stress, family stress, life stress, like worldly stress that's been happening. This is like, you truly do have like such an ultimate program, especially for high performing women that do want to have it all, that want to have their career and beautiful creations and a wonderful family and time with their children and their friends and themselves, and like a rich life full of so much. Like, it is truly empowering to know how to feed yourself in a way that supports all of your systems, not just how to feed yourself in the typical feminine diet culture in order to look good or to be sexy or to be thin or to fit some ideal. It's actually like, rejuvenate your energy so you can save the world. And that's a big part of what we created for you with the Energized Woman brand.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Like, feel free to respond to what I just said, but I want to get into the brand and show everyone like the first part of the website and just kind of do a big reveal.
I just wanted I'll share a little story that my process that I follow and the data that I analyze for all of my clients. I've created this spreadsheet that has all the calculations and all of the symptoms and everything that does all the correlation for me. And it's massive and it took a long time to create. Last week I went to open it up and it had disappeared.
Oh no.
Hold on. And I looked through Dropbox and Google and my computer, and I don't know what happened. I honestly have no idea what happened to it. So I would have in the past, before I kind of regulated my stress and kind of fed my stress response and fed myself the way I am, both energetically and nutritionally and everything, probably would have had a crying, flat on the ground, table flipping temper tantrum and spent a few good days feeling really sorry for myself and blaming the world. But it happened last Wednesday. I looked and I'm like, went downstairs and told my husband, and my attitude was like, this really sucks, but what do? I'm going to have to recreate it. Like, that was just like a light bulb went off. I'm like, holy chrome. I've made a massive transformation in my own mood and temperament and reaction to stress, because I would have lost it not even a few years ago, probably.
Whoa. Well, I'm so sorry that happened. And, I'm so curious about like, where did it go in there? And also it is Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde did start, I think it was on the 28th, 29th. I'll have to go resort to my cosmic calendar. Like I said, I'm quad right. I don't remember, and I have an open head entirely. So I don't remember things unless I need to. So if the detail's not important, it's not important to start a Mercury retrograde. It's just important to know we're still in it. And it's not something to be afraid of. It's when we have these technical issues that there's an opportunity for us to reevaluate and to reconsider. And now I'm sure, being the cybersecurity expert that you are, that there's like, you're going to rebuild this, but you're going to make it bigger and badder and better than ever.
Yes.
And right. And the fact that even just your body, upon hearing that stress, because of the way that you fuel your body and your connection to your energetics, like literally like your energy field, but also like the energetics of your physical system through your hormones and your food, you were able to not have a freak out. Like that is power.
Mhm.
Like what immense power, truly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. And I can really say, like, I wish I would have had those tools already, but I'm grateful that I went through the experience of feeling like completely depleted and incapable of even like, even putting on socks was difficult for me. Like I remember I was trying to make the decision of what socks to put on. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't have the energy.
Mhm.
And unfortunately for me, one of my stress responses is that I like just lose my appetite. And so my body just had no fuel and I had no energy to fuel myself either. So it was like, I literally was just like, thank goodness I know about how to feed my body, because I was just like forcing like just nutrients and protein into my system
Mhm.
in like liquid form in
Yep.
smoothies to just like maintain my well-being. Cause like the act of chewing and food, like cooking food wasn't even going to happen for me. And I wonder like, what's that like? Like, how do you coach someone through that's like so exhausted or doesn't feel like they have the time to even take care of themselves? Like, is that something that you see a lot?
Yeah, I'd say about half my clients have the stress and fatigue response of overeating. That would be me. And then half have the response of just no interest in food, not eating, don't have any desire to eat, too tired to eat. And I understand absolutely being too tired to make food. So some of the things that I've found to be helpful is to just, you don't have to make a meal. Honestly, sometimes you can just have a jar of almond butter and a spoonful of almond butter, like a couple of olives, or I don't know, water with some chia seeds in it, like super simple things that are already available. Just easily throw them together as in less than 30 seconds kind of thing. Still fine. Carrots, apples, whatever. And then I like smoothies are awesome if you like smoothies. I have had a few clients who have just had such zero interest in food that we have started them off, or I've started them off with supplements. Like, can you handle 2 to 3 supplements a day just to elevate your body's interest in food, regulate that stress response just enough, reduce the inflammation just enough? That lack of desire to eat is typically related to the inflammation side of stress that then triggers your mitochondria to just shut off. And when they're shut off, they can't make energy for you. They don't want to make energy for you. The signal is rest. Don't feed me. I can't digest food. So sometimes we just have to even go down the road of supplementing, which I'm not generally someone who recommends supplements first.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
for food, but that would be the extreme. Most people, it's what can you eat? What are you willing to try? What works for you right now? And as long as you can add that to your body at this point, that's fair game. Because we don't need to complicate nutrition. I eat spoonfuls of almond butter right out of the jar all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you've ever heard of a fat bomb, but I have zero interest in making a fat bomb. I feel that they do have a benefit for me anyway. And so I just take a spoonful of almond butter and call that my fat bomb.
Absolutely. I love that. I literally, as we're talking, I am craving. I can't wait to have some sunflower seed butter that I
Yeah.
bought based on your recommendation. And this one is like, it's really, it doesn't have any sugar, but it's kind of salty and I just crave it. I crave it. It's so good. And that's really interesting to know about like the body's response and the mitochondria and how like, it just wants to rest. And it actually feels really validating for me to know that, because I didn't know that before. And, before, when I was there, I was just really judging myself and being like, I need to eat, I want to be healthy, but I have no desire. And, and it was really empowering to actually come back to my deep love of food, because my whole life I've loved food. I'm Taurus, Mars, Taurus rising, and Taurus earth. And so I love me food. My environment is kitchens. Like literally my ideal workspace would be we're all around a kitchen and then we just get to cook together. And then, oh, someone's recording a podcast up there, or doing some a call up there, and then we're co-working. And like that is my ideal situation, is literally kitchens. And I realized that because I love cooking and I love elixirs and I love crafting and making teas, and I have cold thirst. So mine is all about, like, I'm all about the drinks in my constitution and human design. But you know, everyone is unique, everyone is differentiated. And I really think it's so important for every individual to take care of their own energy system, and especially every woman, because most people aren't taking into account the hormonal cycles or the moon cycle, or just even the cognitive experience of what it is to be a woman and be talking about food, because there's so much shaming around our bodies and eating disorders and everything like that. Like, you need a very conscious person to be able to lead you down that path. And I'm so grateful that that is you, and you created the Energized Woman. And I have had the pleasure of co-creating your brand and website and some of your marketing and your brand strategy with you. It truly has been so incredibly wonderful. So if you want, Daina, I would love to just like do a little reveal for everybody that will watch this as a video on YouTube, or as clips on Instagram, or wherever you're watching this. I might not even be in the metaverse anymore. It might be on Rumble or different platforms altogether. But I wanted to share your homepage and the website that we really co-created. You built it on Kajabi, so it's all integrated with all of your courses, all of your trainings, all of your self-study and group and one-on-one program. Like, all of it is integrated and together. And I had so much fun actually designing and creating not just your brand and business strategy into like a single document where you can really explain what it is that you do, but also creating some of these graphics for your site was such a pleasure for me, and seeing it really come to life. And before I do that, I would just love to know, like, what was that experience like for you? Like, really bringing the Energized Woman forward, doing that rebrand. You had the name and we just brought it to life together.
It was a lot of fun to talk through like the ideas with you and then really inspiring to have you take my words and create something more concise and pretty much exactly what I was looking for. And then when we got into the design and like creating the actual website and all that, it was a lot. It was quite cool. It was, we kind of, as you'll see, we kind of went bold, and we got to like play around with different symbols and concepts and taglines. And I don't know, it just I felt really emboldened and just really ready to confidently put this brand out in the world. My previous brand was, compared to this one, now feels very blah and tame, and like I was trying to appease the world, whereas this one is me, and you really helped me bring that out, what I wanted, my mission, my vision, my whole, like, the message behind the Energized Woman, the reason I created the Energized Woman. It feels like you totally brought it all out into the open, and I'm so proud to be sharing this with everybody.
I am so excited. But just to keep everybody waiting a little bit longer, I have to say that one of my favorite experiences, because I've built over 30 brands at this point, and a lot of them have been rebrands. So, someone had already built a brand, they had a different name, they had a different look and feel, and they're like, this just isn't it. This doesn't feel like me. It doesn't actually express what I want. And many people fall into that trap, especially with the world of online marketing telling you every single reel, every single ad is like, you're doing this wrong. Do it my way. You're doing it wrong. Do it my way. Do you niche down? Don't niche down. You should niche down, blah, blah, blah. It's so crazy. And for me as a marketing expert, I've been doing it for 13 years. It's been my entire career working with the biggest brands like AT&T, Blizzard Entertainment, Sunglass Hut, to incredible local brands like Plume Science. That was and we got to build that brand from the brand up, from the roots up, which is fun because they grow hair and eyelashes and eyebrows completely naturally using the beautiful science of nature. And it's so incredible how often, because there's these brand kits or there's these trends that happen in brand and design, just like in fashion, where people really get stuck in just looking the same because they want to look professional. But that's not what branding is. Branding is the unique expression of your gifts, your mastery, your energy. And you are the energized woman, and you're here to create energized women. And that is about pouncing on your power. That is sexy. It is electricity. It is energy. And it is also deeply, deeply energetic, right? The level of mastery that you bring in with the coaching as well is very potent. And so we brought that through in all of the symbols and energies and colors, right? There's lots of really bold purples because that's the color of the ajna, the third eye center, which is let's really learn the truth of what's going to guide you forward. And it's this healing regal color. And there's just a whole spectrum of expressions of purple within your brand, which you loved and you brought forward. And I just kind of saw and ran with, and it was so much fun. And this was actually one of my first times building a brand. Well, I've done it lots of times before, but without a professional designer too, building out the logo and all of that. I actually trusted myself and my own vision and our co-creation, and the results is pretty epic. So let's just look at it and stop talking about it. This is it. Become an energized woman. Demystify endless exhaustion and unleash unlimited feminine energy. I mean, that's really what you do and what you offer to the world. And I've been wanting to create a brand with neon lights, which just makes sense, right? We're turned on, we're energized. That's why we incorporated the neon in a lot of your headers. And of course, the butterfly above the eye of energized, because it's the metamorphosis, it's the transformation of ending that exhaustion and actually unleashing feminine energy. And it's so powerful. And then the cat, and I'm wearing my cheetah print for you today, that pouncing and that feminine power that's so often depicted in the cat world. Especially with lionesses and the females are often the hunters, right? The ones with a lot of energy and the ones feeding the collective. So I just love the symbolism, and you also love cats so much. And it all just came together. What's this like to just look at this and know that this is your brand?
Oh, I don't even know the words. It's just every time I open it, I'm like, ooh, I love it. Just feels so, I love it. It's so bold and just clean and energizing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And what you just said is really my core philosophy around sacred branding is you want the feeling and the energy and the symbolism to immediately give you the feeling that you'll actually get from engaging with the brand, right? So it feels bold and energizing and fun and sexy and also really clear and simple, right?
Yeah.
Become an energized woman. It's simple. And also the format that you have that we've been talking about to actually make that a reality is also really simple. So if we scroll down, we get to your Energy Accelerator Blueprint, which is your free giveaway for anyone that's listening to this. Go to theenergizedwoman.com, get yourself an Energy Accelerator Blueprint. It is free, and you will have you will have more energy, clearer focus, and get more done in just 2 to 3 weeks. If you're not convinced that Daina is the woman for you to help you support your energy, I can't help you, but I mean, this is it. If you know that you're ready to start the journey, go and get yourself an Energy Accelerator Blueprint. And of course, if you're ready to go even deeper, on the very top of your page, we have book a consult, and we created a separate page just for the root cause deep dive. I love this so much. I love that you chose the lightning. this energy that's typically very considered like very masculine, right? Zeus and all the gods of thunder and Jupiter, they're usually the lightning bearers. But I really love like, you know, women taking that back and being like, oh, I can control the energy. I can get to the root cause. I can deep dive and like really help myself and get this comprehensive analysis of like nutrient gaps, personalized success plan to jumpstart natural energy. It's just so, it's really fun, and it does the job in a really wonderful way. So what has been some of your response from some of your clients or other people like looking at this brand?
First of all, my husband loves it, and he's critical of everything I've ever created and hardly ever has something good to say. So that's good. A lot of my clients, they love the colors. I had one client who said, I love your new site. I don't normally resonate or I'm drawn to websites, but this one I really do feel like a connection with. So that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of really positive feedback.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm so happy to hear it. I just want to scroll down because I want to just show people just like the level of like testimonials that you have, like the amount of experiences and women that you've already served is so immense. And there's this one, where is it? I think it's on the front page, but we really like went deep and talked about the women's energy crisis. And you really shared like your manifestos and your own experience and this feminine trinity of energy, which was so fun to design. And you created all the frameworks, and then I just had fun visually expressing them. And also like integrating the strategy together was just so much fun. Like even this like intro of you. And we haven't even talked about the fact that you live in Nicaragua. Perhaps that'll be another conversation for another time. But, you know, the fact that you even chose to live in a place that gives you more energy. It even has like lots of solar energy and heat, and that you're really living your life fully aligned and living and breathing being an energized woman and sharing that with the world. And I'm just so excited for more people to be served and to be given hope, because like I say, as guilt motivation is, you can't have hope without action. You can't have hope without, you know, a way to actually create that result. And you give people hope because you know what actions they need to take, and you can give them their own personalized actions, and you've lived it and you've breathed it, and you have helped me, and you will serve so many others. And I'm just like, it's truly like you are a wellspring of feminine energy. And I'm just so grateful for this co-creation and for you sharing everything that you do. It's truly immense. And I can't wait to hear all of the lives that you will transform over the course of your life. It's really a movement is how I experience the Energized Woman. Like it's so much more than just one-on-one energy consultation and nutrition. It's a movement to truly, like you said, heal the women's energy crisis naturally, holistically, beautifully with food. So you can serve the world with your energy by becoming an energized woman. And look at you beautifully playing and dancing and being with the cats. I just love it so much. There's so much realness here because it's real. This is who you are. This is your creation, your life's work. And it is truly my deepest gift and pleasure to create that and just share it with the world for you in this podcast and through all of the ways that we've worked together on your brand.
Yes, it's definitely been a blast.
Absolutely. I mean, it has to be fun. It has to be fun. If it's not fun, like what's the point, right? It's your business. It's like, this is the art. This is the expression. This is where you get to have fun, is with your marketing and your branding. And I really truly feel that if you don't love it, like, and it doesn't resonate and you're not excited to share it, like that's when it's time for a change and a switch up and deeper alignment and like, you know, not necessarily like mental strategy, but like soul defined strategy. Like all of my brand strategies start with a true star astrology and human design reading so that I understand you and your business. Like it's like the energetics of you and your business really matter in building this. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that I feel honored that I was able to be a part of it, because I already know how much it will serve the collective and how much it already has. So thank you for all that you do. If people want to reach out to Daina, go to theenergizedwoman.com, the.energized.woman on Instagram. It's Daina Gardiner on YouTube. You actually have really awesome YouTube videos that are very underviewed. People need to go watch those because you have such incredible content on there. And, you know, the YouTube algorithm is like the great mystery of life that Mr. B seems to have only figured out, and some others, but I'm just so excited. As you can see, I'm just going on and on and on. So let me know what else you want people to say, where they can find you, like anything else that you want to share, before we wrap up this podcast today.
Well, I guess one of the, like, if this resonates with you, one of the main missions I have is to really help with who are feel heard and loved and supported, because a lot of times when we're exhausted, we do this alone. We feel ashamed by it. We feel guilty for it. We kind of shut ourselves away from the world and try and take it on ourselves. And so, having been brushed off, told I was crazy, told it was my hormones, told to just cope and live with it and learn to just get along with it, I want to change that thinking and help women really feel loved and supported, and let you know that you can get your energy back. It does take a little bit of work, but it's simple once you know that root cause and you have the support. So that is my mission, to really help women take back control of their own health. Stop listening to the experts all the time. And learning to tune in to what your body is saying, because as women, there's not a lot of protocols or treatments or medical tests or anything that have been created for women. So it's very important that we kind of take back that stance that we're different, we are special, and we are unique, and we deserve to feel our best. But yeah, that's my mission. And the best place to find me is, as Sanja said, either the website or on Instagram. Probably the best.
Oh my gosh, Daina, I literally almost just started crying as you said that, because it's true. You really do make women feel heard. And you know, we didn't have it until now. Like, you've created this system and these tools that from 2 questionnaires, you can know what hormones are out of balance, like how someone can really take back the reins, distinguish that root cause, and also just get supported and actually be completely validated in their experience. And it's worked for me. It's worked for you. It's worked for all of your clients so far. And I just can't wait to hear about how many more women are going to be powerfully impacted, activated, and come back to life from working with you. And I just want to thank you for this service that you are. And, you know, your birthday is November 4th, which is the very last day of Virgo season, right before Libra. And that to me is the cusp of beauty, like the ultimate mastery of the earth realm, right? The earth realm being that analysis of what to eat and how to eat it and what each individual needs, and how food, which is from the earth, serves us and can fuel us. And then it's the beauty of Libra, that balance point of love, peace, harmony, really making it beautiful, making it loving, making it harmonious, right? It's not harsh, it's really loving. And you fully embody that, not just from your birthday sun sign, but in your whole design and in your whole brand, in your whole being. And the earth is lucky to have you here, and women are about to get energized, something fierce. We are going to be on the prowl. We are going to be empowered, energized, and creating peace on earth. And that's what it's all about. And I am so grateful that I have been on this journey with you, and that it's not over, that we get to continue building and evolving. And yeah, I really can't express my gratitude enough for the work that you do. It's so immense and important. And I'm so grateful that you didn't stop, that you didn't give up, and that you kept going so that we could be here today and you could share this message and have the tools and services that you do.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to have worked with you and continue working with you. It's been evolutionary.
Oh my gosh, I just love you. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Shakti Waves Radio. I'm so excited about this new season. Please go reach out to Daina, the Energized Woman, on Instagram, theenergizedwoman.com. Let yourself become an energized woman, unleash your feminine power, and serve the world. It's time. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.